So I'm sure Erica shared with you, and if she didn't, I'm sharing now. I am a full-time teacher just like you, and I have mandatory PD on Wednesdays. I was not allowed to leave early, and I literally just walked in the door, and I'm just pulling up my slides. Everybody in the chat, go ahead and share for me. Are you recording, Erica?
I am recording, and we shared in the chat a reader that we've enjoyed doing with our students.
Perfecto, excelente. And now if you could just share with me in the chat on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being terrible and 5 being awesome, how are you feeling on this Wednesday? How did your day with students go? If you didn't have students, how are you feeling? 5 is fantastic, 1 is terrible. How are you doing today? While I pull up my slides. And then scroll up and see if you have anybody who is feeling the same number as you. 3.5, I like that. A 7. Wow. So you're over, unless you're thinking on a scale of 10. 7 is great. Hi, my Lily JB. You attend everything I do always. I love you so much. Okay, some 4s, some 3s. 2, okay. Hi, my Ellen. I'm between a 2 and a 3, just because I don't like not feeling set up. But I'm there now. I think part of my issue is I'm extra. Like, why do I have to be extra with like the slides behind me? If I weren't extra, I could just share screen, but that's not me. So I gotta be extra. And I maybe wouldn't be so frazzled if I didn't have to do all the things with 9,000 windows open. But that's pretty good. That took me about 2 minutes to get it. You love extra. I love extra. Hey, you're new familia. Welcome. I'm so excited. Okay. Okay. Let's do a breathing brain break. Everybody ready? Square your shoulders. You can stand up if you want to, but if you don't want to stand up, then just square your shoulders. Put your hands in your lap, not on your notebook or on your pen. And then breathe in through your nose. Ready? And out through your mouth. And do that again. Thank you for doing that with me. I needed one. And we're actually in the presence of one of my all-time favorite breathing brain break people, and that is Erica Poplinski. I use videos of her doing this in Spanish in my elementary classroom. And when I taught middle school, I used it as well. So welcome. My name is Annabelle. Most people call me La Maestra Loca. This workshop, this mini webinar is called Bridging Books, Reluctant Readers to Language Enthusiasts. And I'm super, super excited to be here with you tonight. Really excited about the opportunity, and I'm exhausted after a really long day at school. 9 classes a day. It's kicking my very pregnant butt right now. Hi, I'm Annabelle. This is a little bit about me. Are any of you brand new to me in general? Can you raise your hand? Oh my gosh, buckle up. Buckle up, y'all. Okay. There's at least 2 on camera and Clinton off camera. Okay, Clinton, thank you for participating off camera. Appreciate that. Oh no, there's more. Oh God. Okay, y'all buckle up. That was a good introduction to me. I am pretty much like what you've just witnessed all the time. I am all of these things. I am neurodivergent, recently diagnosed with ADHD very late in life. I am a Spanish teacher in New Orleans, Louisiana. I am currently teaching elementary, pre-K 4th and 5th, but I have taught elementary, middle, and high, and adults. The only thing I haven't taught is college. That adds I'm very grateful for my experience in teaching all ages and all levels, all the way from like novice through AP, because I feel like the hesitance that sometimes people feel when they meet me, they're like, oh, you must be great with littles. my least experience is with littles. I have more experience with high schoolers than I do with pre-K students. But I think sometimes my extraness and my exuberance can feel like, oh, surely that wouldn't work with my high schoolers. And my pushback is always, well, it won't work with your high schoolers if you believe it won't. It's all about our mindset and our approach. So I have experience with elementary, middle, and high. That's something important to keep in mind. I'm currently at an IB school. I'm at a public charter in New Orleans. There aren't really any public schools left. It's just charter or private. I am big into travel. I'm big into tattoos. What else could I tell you about myself? I was World Language Teacher of the Year in 2018 for the state of Louisiana. Currently taking French. I'm a mommy. I'm 7 months pregnant. I'm a stepmommy. That's about it. I speak Chinese as well. I speak Mandarin. But I speak it like I can make it sound like, would you? I have a new puppy. God, puppies. He's currently eating my Mardi Gras wig. So I'm just gonna step real quick and grab the Mardi Gras wig. That's my favorite wig. Go away, butthead. My gosh. Okay. And I make it sound like I know a lot of Chinese, but I don't really. I lived in China for 9 months. I taught in China. And my experience with acquisition-driven instruction really influenced the way that I acquired Chinese while I was there. And I know enough Chinese to be able to do demos in Chinese. And when I meet somebody like in an Uber who is a Chinese speaker or who speaks Mandarin, we can have a conversation. And they're always like, how many years did you live there? I'm like, 9 months. It's not like I'm really good at circumlocution, which is like the ability to use this many words and make it sound like I know what I'm doing. So, yeah, I love language and I love being in the classroom and working with teachers. So, I have a PLC called La Familia Loca PLC where I work with teachers on a monthly basis year round. Some of my members are here. I am passionate about both. And I think that me being in the classroom also helps me work with teachers because I'm in the trenches with you, right? So I love doing this and I'm really grateful for Voces for the opportunity to be here today. Yeah, I like to start with a land acknowledgement anytime I do any kind of presentation. My land acknowledgement is for the land that I am presenting on. If you're not familiar with land acknowledgements, it's taking a moment to give gratitude for the land that you're living on or benefiting from and the people whose land it is. So I like to acknowledge that today I'm presenting from the traditional land of the Choctaw and Homa peoples, past, present, and emerging. I honor and give gratitude to the land and its people whose water and resources I benefit from today and every day. And if you want to learn more about land acknowledgements, you can go to nativeland.ca. I learned about them from Profe Bennett, who learned about them from Francoise Penou. And I recently added the word and emerging because I heard it from a friend named Boo Kathy, who teaches Indonesian in Australia. I was presenting in Australia. I got to go in person. It was amazing. And she added that word and I was like, I love that. It's not just past and present peoples, but it's the emerging peoples as well. This quote, raise your hand if you've seen it before. You can say yes in the chat if you've seen it before. It's used all the time, but for good reason, right? Dr. Krashen is did the work for us to do all the research, and he admires people who are in the classroom so much because we are putting his research into practice, right? And he said people acquiring a second language have the best chance for success through reading. So we know, especially reading through for pleasure is the best way for us to acquire language. It is very hard to read for pleasure if you're a struggling reader. Do you agree? It is very hard to read for pleasure if you think you are incapable of reading in your first language. So if you're coming into a second language classroom as a low reader, low for your grade, or a struggling reader, or just somebody who doesn't like it, reading for pleasure, which is what we want to build to through free voluntary reading, FVR, and SSR, silent sustained reading, that's really freaking hard if you're set up to believe that you cannot or you're not successful, which many of our students are led to believe that or believe that about themselves. See or no? Right? I mean, I'm not the only one. Thank you. This is something that we must bridge. That's where I came up the name with this presentation. We have to bridge this gap in order to see success later in our programs. Now, one of the things that people know me very well for is joy. Like, how are we creating joy in our world language classrooms from the earliest levels and staying in the target language? Because I stay 95% or more in target language. I'm speaking Spanish all of my class. I do it through acquisition-driven instruction, and there's a hell of a lot of joy every day, right? And that's because I know the more joyful it feels every day for my students, the more likely they are to want to continue on with their language acquisition journey, whether it's in Spanish or French or Mandarin or Japanese or German or whatever language they want to take. The more joy I can infuse early on, the more likely they are to continue. The more joyful we can make the reading experience early on in group reading situations and scenarios, the more likely our students are to be interested, invested, and eager to try reading on their own independently for pleasure. Does that make sense? So we have to hook them early, infuse things with joy, and almost make it so that they don't even realize they're reading. Because I've had students, and I've had this more times than I can count in my career. Early on, I used to like write down all these quotes, and now I wish I had continued it, but quotes all the time like, well, I'm not a good reader in English, but I can read in Spanish. And I'm like, wow, this kid literally thinks they're incapable of doing it in their first language, but they can do it in my class. Like, that's how powerful is that? One of my favorite moments ever was a little boy named Cole, who is now a junior in college, in 7th grade, came to me. I had him for 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade Spanish. He came to me in 7th and said, Maestra, importante, información importante. I said, oh my gosh, tell me what, Cole? He said, la maestra de libros, dice mi reading es mucho fantástico. I said, oh my gosh, what? Oh my gosh, tell me more. Tell me in English. Tell me in English. He said, my reading score jumped 2 grade levels. I said, Cole, he was reading at a 1st grade reading level in 5th grade. And he was shooting up. And guess what? It was because he had discovered he loved reading in Spanish. And I literally had to point blank tell him, Cole, reading is reading. You can read in English. You just got to find the right way, like the right level and the right thing to read. You can read in English too. Like, it's so empowering. That's what we want, right? It's to infuse that joy so that the voluntary part feels easier. And let's be honest, especially if you're teaching 8th through 11th. reading for pleasure. Is it really going to be pleasurable for 50% of them, 60% of them? No. No. And there's a lot of apathy we're dealing with, and that's okay. We're not necessarily going for pleasure. But if we want to build up to a free voluntary reading program where students are self-selecting novels, we have to do enough front loading to make them feel empowered enough and capable enough so that when they get there, they're capable. Does that make sense? Okay, rant over. Can y'all still see me big on your screens? You see my vocals? Okay, good. Because I like seeing you because I feel like I do a better job when I can see faces. So, okay. This is the first thing. Do any of you already do a write and discuss? Oh, yeah, yeah, ooh, ooh. Is it Kara or Kara?
Kara.
Kara does write and discuss. Okay, so, Okay, some of you are in the chat. Hi, Scott. Hi, my Scott. So many of you already do write and discuss. Those of you who don't yet, ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one, and it's zero prep. Oh, can I get a whoop whoop? Okay, y'all are not as excited as me. Okay, that's okay. Zero prep, I'm all in for zero prep, y'all. I'm all in for zero prep, okay? Write and discuss is safe and easy. Did I say already that it's zero prep? Oh, it's zero prep, meaning you don't need to do anything to prepare for a write and discuss in advance. That's a beautiful thing. We have enough on our plates. When we can not do do something awesome to build reading skills, but not have to prep for it, that's awesome. It's very much part of a routine. I do a write and discuss about 3 times a week. I see my students every day. I do write and discuss 3 times a week. If you teach elementary, with my 3rd graders and younger, I'm not teaching 3rd grade this year, but 3rd graders and younger, I don't have them write with me all the time, maybe once or twice in 3rd grade, but 4th grade and up, they write with me every single time. And what you're doing is you're building their writing skills, but you're also immediately connecting the written language to that's my son. Hold, please. Oh my God. You're immediately connecting the written language to the spoken language that they've been learning all class. What, Memphis? I can't come, Bubba. What's up? Okay, you can watch it, buddy. Sorry. Oh God. My husband's not home. So the 4-year-old is managing himself. 5-year-old now. He just turned 5. Sorry. He's doing a great job. It's going to be fine. The house will not burn down. Okay. So you're building writing routines. What does a write and discuss look like? It looks like a recap of whatever happened in class. So if you told a story during class, you're writing that story up at the end of class. You could take 5 minutes to do this. You could take 10 minutes to do this. You're writing it up, okay? If you did a special person interview, you're writing up as many details as you want to of that special person interview. If you didn't at all follow your lesson plan at all because organic conversation happened, you write up whatever conversation happened, pieces that you want to. If you did something cultural, you learned about a practice in another country, great, write it up. What that's doing is it's immediately connecting what kids have heard all class to the written form so they're able to read it. And then you're reading it at the end. At the very end, you read it all together. It's reviewing, it equals more input. Choral reading at the end is a safe way for everybody to be reading together. It's not one person having to read it out. Does that make sense? There's also so many ways to scaffold this, and I'm going to show you that. I'll show you a quick part of this video. Okay. Un chocolate o un regalo? Regalo. Lindsay, estoy confundida. ¿Tiene chocolate o tiene un regalo? I just realized, can y'all hear it or no? You can? Okay, thank God. Tiene un regalo. ¿Es un regalo grande o pequeño? Pequeño. Es pequeño. El regalo es un perro. Es un perro. Okay. Levántate. Toca la cabeza. Toca la boca. Maestra dice, I'm not doing it with you. Maestra dice, tiene. Maestra dice, quiere. Remember, mucho? That's why you're really fast. Thank you, Rachel. Skipping ahead. Violentos. Hold on 1 second. I'm waiting on 2 people. Dance. Tiene un Celebración. Okay, so you can watch the whole video later if you want to. You can see there's a lot of classroom management stuff going on. That was a really large class, 32 third graders, and at a very challenging school, but they did pretty great. But you can see the idea is we had done a clip chat. I was writing up sentences from that clip chat. That was third grade, so they weren't writing with me. And then at the end, we choral read with the help of Unicorn P. And Unicorn P, if you don't know, helps everybody read. Did you know that? Well, obviously, those of you who know me knew that. But those of you who didn't know, I discovered the powers of Unicorn P when I taught high school. Because I was like, why is nobody choral reading? And then I learned about the powers of Unicorn P, and it like made everybody in the class read. And I was like, oh my God, this is mind blowing. And it didn't at all at first. It only made 50% of the class read. But then when they realized I wasn't going to stop, more and more read until it was like one kid left not reading, and his friend was like, I will kill you right now if you don't start reading. She's literally going to keep on making the unicorn P on the marker until everybody's reading. You just need to read the freaking words on the board. And then once everybody did it, I was like, it's the most magical thing ever. And then see, like something for buy-in, please God. Unicorn P, who knew? So whatever to make them choral read, they choral read at the end. P as in pipi de unicornio. Like actual, I don't have any of my unicorns in here because my son had a birthday party and all of the kids, oh, here's some. All the kids raided my office and took all my unicorns. This is Joy. Everybody say hi, Joy. Wow, lots of you are not saying hi to Joy.
Hi, Joy.
Thank you. This is Joy the unicorn. And Joy, for example, really likes to drink water. And Joy, if she peed on something, it would literally, and I touched that something to a word, it would make you read it. It's really wild. It's the coolest thing ever.
Hey, Annabelle, we have a couple questions. One person is requesting a link to that fabulous video you have.
They're going to have access. Well, you will have access to most of my slides with a watermark over it. The only reason for the watermark is I have had people like steal my whole presentation and present it as their own content. More than 5 times. So it will have a watermark over it, but you'll be able to play all the links and link to blogs, link to the YouTube videos, link to podcasts.
You're the best. And then the second question is, what does it mean they write with you? How do you do that?
Okay, so when they write with me, it looks like this. You can write on a smartboard like you saw me doing in that model. You can write on a Google Doc, which is what I do now for a lot of reasons. I'll explain those later. You can write on a dot cam. The beauty of a dot cam is it slows you down. You can also write on a whiteboard. Okay. The whiteboard does the same thing as a dot cam. it slows you down while you're writing. Basically, I write a sentence as I'm writing, just like you heard me do. I think you heard me in that video. Secret, I blurred myself out so I could go see why my son was screaming. He had a big diarrhea accident and it's all over the place. So it's natural that that would happen when, so sweet little boy. Anyways, I don't know if you saw me or not, but I elicit answers from them. So I say like, Bob tiene un, ¿qué? ¿Qué tiene Bob? Regalo, muy bien, tiene un regalo. And I'm filling in the blanks. So they're like, it's another opportunity to like recall information, see what they were listening, seeing all that. They are then in their journals writing with me or in whatever you use for writing. For me, I use journals because they're already under their seat from their do now. They pull out their journal and they write the write and discuss in the write and discuss section. They're just writing along with me. Now, sometimes it's 5 sentences, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 2, right? With my littles, you can do this with your first graders, y'all. It might just be 2 sentences that you're retelling. They're not writing with you. They don't have the motor skills to go fast enough for that. But they're still, it's connecting the literacy. It's building literacy in L2, right? And here's how I can accommodate. I have students who have writing accommodations. I actually teach now in a fully inclusive charter, which means that I have students who are attending every class with every single student. Does that make sense? Like there are no pullouts. There are no like kids who take math in another room. Everybody is with everybody all day long. So I have between 6 and 12 IEPs in any given class because my school is really good at it and it makes it really challenging, but also really beautiful, like really beautiful. One of the things you'll notice is this one is underlined. I don't have a newer example. A newer example would be better. In my Google Docs, anything that's underlined means that the kids with the writing accommodations, that's what they're writing. So sometimes it's a whole sentence. Sometimes it's just my high frequency vocab, like has, wants, goes, lives, likes, right? It's whatever I need it to be. You'll also notice the different colors. The different colors also have different symbols by them. Some of my kids are colorblind. Not all of your kids will tell you if they're colorblind. If you're using colors, you have to do something to make it so that your colorblind kids can also know what's going on and participate. Because your colorblind kids don't always have a 504 IEP like saying that, right? Sometimes they don't even know they're colorblind until much later. So that's something to keep in mind. You'll also notice there are 3 underlined in yellow. That's because those were the 3 that I wanted them to use on their storyboard. So we did an activity the next day. I took a screenshot. I just pulled this up. 0 prep. And gave them a storyboard. And they had to write the ones that were underlined in yellow on their storyboard and illustrate them for comprehension, right? What can we do to save ourselves time? You can do a write and discuss in a Google Doc and use it for a billion different things in the future. So that will help. Snapshot review. Here's another one. It does take a little bit of prep in typical Annabelle fashion, like that's where my brain goes. So I like to talk about the prep for you. It does take a little bit of prep. You can add text or you don't have to, because you can add text with them in a write and discuss sort of way, except for maybe they won't write with you on this one. And then you can do choral reading with it. So what this might look like is if you did a clip chat, you could screenshot. I have a blog I'll paste in the chat too. If you did a clip chat, you can the next day pull up screenshots of that and plop them in a slideshow. And that's a super time saver, the blog that I put in the chat for screenshotting. And then it could be as simple as that. Literally, this is what the kids walk in and see. and then you together are writing. Well, they're not writing. You're asking questions and writing the sentences as you go so that you're co-reading the story that was told yesterday. Anytime I do this, if I've told the story the first day, what am I speaking in the next day? Past tense. Wait, you do that with your novices? Spanish 1? Yes, 100%. Week 1, I'm speaking lots of past tense with them because it's not natural to retell the story we told yesterday. If I'm going to retell the story we did yesterday, I'm going to do it in the past tense. So I retell the story in the past tense. I'm writing it up in the past tense. We're reading it. Boom, we move on. So this is nice, and it's lower prep if I don't write the sentences in advance. This is a clip chat I always do in the fall. Not always, I haven't done it in a while, but this is another version of it where I've already pre-written the sentences, right? So I'm a Spanish teacher. This is a mini unit that I developed for Familia Loca like 2 or 3 years ago based on the clip chat Dante's Lunch. It's a fantastic clip. And Dante's Lunch is all about, it's very short, and it is about a little dog who's in Coco, the movie Coco, and he is chasing a bone around the city, and there's so much culture embedded in this video. I went ahead and I posted it in the chat for you. And so the next day the kids came in and we read the story again, but we read it in the past tense. And there were pictures of the story. We choral read it. I read it, and then when I stomped, they read the next one word. There's so many different reading strategies you can do to build up to them reading, but the group effort is so important, right? The novelty is important because it's creating that unexpected twist that invests them more. I saw somebody say great question, but I didn't see. Can I give a 2 to 3 sentence example? Oh, yeah. There you go. It's like I'm predicting what you're going to need. Here's another one. And so they go through the story. You're literally retelling the story with a screenshot, which, by the way, if you didn't see that blog, click on that blog, save yourself. It's the best Google Chrome extension. I love tech tips. That's another thing I'm big on sharing with teachers. Okay, are you ready for another one? It's called color sequencing. This one's good, y'all. This one's really good. Okay. Color sequencing I learned from Carol Gobb. Raise your hand if you know Carol Gobb. Yay. Look at how you smiled so big, Erica. Doesn't she make your heart smile?
Yes, how can you not?
I mean, how can you not? Carol Gobb is one of the teachers I always say that I want to be when I grow up. She's like a hummingbird mixed with a bumblebee, and she's just joyful and busy and buzzing all the time. And she is now just practicing grandma life, but she was the owner of Fluency Matters, which was bought out by a publishing company. And so we all miss Carol Gobb very much, but she's wonderful. Anyways, I learned color sequencing from her. It will make more sense when I show you it. So just hang tight with the question. You want to make lots of possibilities. That'll make more sense in a second. You partner students up and you can milk the heck out of it for scaffolding. Scaffolding as in like you can milk it to give everybody time to finish. You can also make variations and should make variations for colorblind kiddos. Don't assume that you don't have any colorblind kids. You probably do. And I have a little video to show you of this one. Okay, here we go. Oh, sugar muffins. This is going to be interesting because I'm going to have to, oh, I know what I'm going to have to do. Okay, ready? We're going to go here. We're going to go share screen. Sugar muffins. Can I share screen? I can't. Okay. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Can you see this little Instagram video? Okay. Sound on. Okay, these are all juniors in high school as well. This is when they were in 5th grade. So this is Cole's sister, Cade, actually, when Cade was just itty bitty. Here we go. Oh, there's Cole. Cole's in the orange right there. I know you don't know what you're looking at yet. I want to ask about engagement. What do you notice about engagement in this class of 34 fifth graders?
Lots of it.
Tons of engagement. There is so much engagement. What language are they speaking in? English. They're speaking in English. They're speaking in L1. They're reading in Spanish. That's fun because I'm pregnant in that video about 7 months with my other son who you just heard in the background. They have 4 sentences up on the board. Let me show you what these might look like. Stop share. Come back to me. It might look like this. There are numbers on the side for my colorblind kids. I don't use numbers anymore because I found that that's a little bit too confusing. This is an old example because numbers in kids' minds are already sequenced. Does that make sense? So I don't use numbers, I use shapes. Circle, triangle, square, heart. Once you have created one slide with a circle, triangle, square, heart, that's all you do. You just copy it down to the next one. You don't have to find the circle, square, heart, triangle every time, right? You just copy it down to the next slide. They're also color coordinated, right? They are looking at these and deciding which one comes first, which one comes second, which one comes third, which one comes fourth. They're writing this on a whiteboard. This was their practice round, so you don't see the whiteboards with them yet. That's why I went to the front of the classroom. I told them, hold this, and now I'm going to pass out the whiteboards. They write on the whiteboards just the shapes. I think circle comes first. I think square goes next. I think heart goes next. The part where I said make lots of possibilities. Let me see if I have another example. It's been so long since this is a better one. This example is in French. So this was another mini unit that I made for Familia Loca, and it was based on the clip chat Hair Love. Have any of you seen Hair Love before? Hair Love was an award-winning, yeah, so lots of you know it. Hair Love was an award-winning short. It's amazing. But I used this as a clip chat, and then I created a whole mini unit with it with tons of reading, because obviously the best thing to do after a listening thing is read, 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 read. We do so much reading in my class. So this example is in French. There are, shoot. This one, for example, I'm like trying to, this one is an example of one that could come several times in the clip, right? If you make many possibilities, it creates a dialogue between kids that they're going to argue. They're going to debate. They're going to say, no, that one comes second. And the next person's going to say, no, but it also happens after. The point of this is to make them what? Read. Yeah. Read and read and read and read, because as they're debating, what are they doing? They're going back and rereading and rereading and rereading and rereading. The other beauty of it is, like, I can tell students, okay, I can go around to the groups because they hold up their boards when they're done, and I can say, oh, 1 is out of order, look again. Oh, 2 need to be swapped, look again. So they're then, what are they doing then? Rereading, right? All that's doing is allowing everybody the opportunity to get their answer on the board. Guess what? I never actually look at any of their boards. There's too many. I don't know. I don't know the correct order. Is there really a correct order? Does it really matter? No. What matters is that they think there is, and I'm scaffolding so that everybody is able to do it. And then we move on. There's no like, let's check our work. We move on to the next slide. So there's more what? Reading. I give points. Why do I give points? Because points are literal dopamine. I'm doing a podcast very soon. I have a podcast called Teaching La Vida Loca, and I'm doing a podcast very soon with somebody that I adore named Jess Psaros. And Jess Psaros did her entire thesis on the importance of dopamine on adolescent brains, lowering cortisol, upping dopamine for engagement. You want to know why I needed so many hacks in upper middle school and high school? It's to fight the apathy. And the best way to fight apathy is dopamine, especially for your students with ADHD that are dopamine deficient and constantly seeking a dopamine hit. If you add and inject gamification in the smallest ways, like with points, you will see a boost of engagement immediately. Why? Because points matter to them. They care about competition. They care about gamifying, right? You have to always make it doable, though. If I give 25 points to Linda's team because Linda is my all-star student, right? Linda and Kara over there rocking and rolling, and Rita, who missed last week, is like, well, I'm never going to catch up with Kara and Linda. Then Rita's not going to put in the effort with Sandra anymore. But if Rita and Sandra are also receiving points for teamwork, maybe they didn't finish first, but their teamwork was excellent, and they're neck and neck. They're only 2 points behind Kara and Sandra. They're in it. They're like, we've got this. Let's keep going. What are the points used for? Nothing. High fives at the end of class. Bragging rights. It doesn't matter. Gamification leads to more engagement because of dopamine. I could talk for hours on that. Let's not go down that track.
We are actually really close to out of time.
Oh my
Amazing
God, is it
lady.
only 45 minutes?
Yes, only 45
Shut
minutes.
up.
Do you want to share one more quick amazing thing before you go?
God, I have 20. Okay, no, yes. Okay,
It's so hard because
it
you have
is
so
so
many great
hard.
things to share.
I will leave this slide in there so you can read about it and watch videos. How's that sound? And I'm going to do this. Let me find here. Dang, 45 minutes flies by. That's okay. I want you to remember the importance of injecting joy in what you're doing, finding ways for you to inject joy into your day and also your students' day. Because here's the deal. Is it important for our students? Yes. It is super important for our students to experience joy in our world language classrooms. But who is it also important for?
All of us.
Thank you. Some of you are pointing to yourself. This is the world's hardest job. And it's only been getting harder in the last, like we thought it would let up. It hasn't let up. Post-COVID, like so much was added onto our plates that were already overburdened, and nothing is being taken off. It's not gone away. It's only got increasingly harder. A lot of the trauma that students and teachers have lived through COVID is making teaching much different from what we knew. And even on easy days, it's not anything compared to our easy days that we knew 10 years ago, right? So it is really important for us to find joy as well in our days. And I promise you, the more fun you can have with your students building up to independent reading, the better, right? How can you inject more joy in your day, get reading to them in fun ways, the better. The slide, I'll also include my favorite reading activity at the end of the slides called SACE. Raise your hand if you've done SACE before. Great. SACE will also be in there. For those of you who didn't raise your hand, you will love it. SACE is my go-to game. I had a kid who called me an effing C word every single day of the year. And I first introduced them to SACE, and I've never seen a person participate more eagerly in my lifetime. SACE is good for everybody. So I'll include that one too. Y'all are incredible. I love that you were here on a Wednesday. I love that you are eager to think about how you can make reading better for your students. I am sorry I wasn't aware that it was 45 minutes. Definitely thought it was an hour. I always overplan slides. So what I'll do is I'll get these to Erica and her team, and they will send them out to you as soon as they're able. But I'll get them in PDF format so you can click all the links that go to blogs, that go to podcasts, that go to videos with how-tos. And please feel free to reach out. There is not a link right now because I need to take out the superfluous stuff and also put my watermark on it. So, 我爱你，谢谢你，不客气. Yeah, and I'll see you in a little bit, Familia, at 7 o'clock. And thank you again for the opportunity, Erica. And I'm sorry that I went over.
No, you were amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of your brilliant ideas with us, all of your joyful and inspiring, dopamine inspiring ideas with us. And thank you to all of you amazing teachers. You're incredible, and we are so grateful for all of you. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care of you. Adios.